Hello there.
I am the king!
What's up, Headless Horde? All right, we are talking today Rings of Power, episode 2. So last week, me and Ryan, we broke down episode 1. It took much longer than we anticipated. So we have decided to break down each episode, alternating channels. So tomorrow we'll be up on his channel to break down episode 3. So welcome in. Anthony Blaze, what is up? What is up? Thought I was late, but you forgot. Oh, damn right I do. 5 minute. Actually, it's like 3 minutes, you know. What's up, Umpty? How you doing, man? 5 minute intro. 5 minute intros is when I don't have guests. All right, I'm going to bring on my guest for tonight. He's a regular here on Sundays with me. Ryan Milky, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm fantastic.
All right.
Back to doing this Sunday grind. I love it.
Yeah. I love my Sunday lives. Let's do it. All right, so we have episode 2. We broke down episode 1. We both pretty much agreed that we did enjoy the show. I did watch episode 2 again today, and I also enjoyed it more the second time, and I still like it better than episode 1. What say you?
Episode 2 is a fantastic episode. It builds on more character development, which is what was needed, because the first episode just threw it all at us and was like, hey, look at this shiny brand new toy, enjoy it, and try and guess what all these people are called. And now we're getting more dialogue from people. We're still getting new characters introduced, which is cool, but I definitely enjoy it, and going forward it's great.
Yeah, the thing about episode 2 I really enjoyed was I did like how they jumped back and forth between kind of like I guess it was 4 little plot lines, but at least each character, or all the characters, each of them had like their own little time in the episode where it's not like they were there for 3 or 4 minutes and then we don't see them again. But so they kept going back and forth, kind of like Game of Thrones style in a way. So that's why I did enjoy about episode 2 rather than episode 1. Episode 1 did the same. It's just tough when you first start a show and you don't really know any of the characters.
Yeah, exactly. And this is, it's connected to a franchise that I myself haven't divulged myself into for a good 10 years. I haven't watched Lord of the Rings in a long time. I just know it, and I know of things, and it's a fun memory from my past. So it's definitely bringing back memories that I'm going to probably rewatch the show again, rewatch the movies, and try and piece it all together in my head, because there is a lot to take in.
Yeah, I'll be really curious to see at the end of season 1, if I go back and watch Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, are there going to be any of those connections? Like beside a couple of characters, that are mentioned or whatever. But um, and you may have to wait to the end of the series to do that. But I'll
which
be
is
curious.
5 seasons. Yeah,
5 seasons, right? Yeah.
And they could take a couple of years to come out with more stuff, because the show's massive.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably going to be over. I mean, I don't know. Did they really announce they dropping?
I haven't found anything,
season?
but I'd take a stab in the dark at a 10-year process for a 5-series run.
So you think we're not going to get it? We probably won't get episode or season 2 next year. Then you don't think?
No, I think it'll be in conjunction with House of the Dragon. It'll be either before or after House of the Dragon, and they'll keep that kind of market consistency to keep the viewers watching. Hey, here's something to watch before or something after, because I don't know.
Well, they did kind of drop at the same time.
Yeah, they did this time. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't think they'll do that again next time.
Yeah, I hope they don't do that again. I think they need to drop.
We'll see.
They need to drop.
What would you think? Do you think we're going to get them every year?
I don't know. I mean,
£60 million an episode, $60 million an episode.
I mean, like you said, over 5 years. I mean, you're probably looking at a good 8, if not. I don't think we'll go every 2 years, but I think every year and a half, unfortunately. But it's just always tough because you don't watch for a year and a half, and unless you're going to be rewatching, then you definitely have to rewatch before the next one comes on, or you almost forget everything. So
yeah.
But I mean, I guess that goes for any show, really. It's just with these shows with all these characters, it always makes it a little more difficult. I know you said you didn't watch Breaking Bad, but in Breaking Bad, I mean, yeah, you have characters, but you really do have Walter White, who is the main protagonist, and the show is about him. Whereas, all these other shows, there's just so many characters, and they're all involved. It's not just really one character, and that's why these kind of shows are always a little more difficult.
And they've also got to allude to the fan service as well, because this show has got a cult following, and it's got such backstory and history towards it as well. So the stories are intertwined and deeply connected, and it must be hard for the writers, but and to know what they can legally do as well, because I'm sure some of the stuff they're not allowed because of book knowledge and canon and all that from old. I don't know. I'm probably taking another stab in the dark, but it must be hard.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I mean, I'm sure it's very difficult. All right, so we'll start this thing up here. I have
Yeah, man. Hey Umpty, hey Anthony, hey everybody else coming into the stream tonight. Hope everyone's doing well. Please share out the stream. Don't forget to hit the like button for us all.
All right, so episode 2, Rings of Power. So we have the opening scene here with Galindria, and I kind of like the way they did this. I didn't really catch this last week when I watched the back-to-back episodes, but it just reminded me of a little bit of Game of Thrones, a little fire and ice. They opened up with her in the water, just kind of showing that she's okay and she's kind of just adrift and she's floating around, and then right away they flashed right to the fire. So I kind of was digging that a little bit. Did you catch that at all? How they did that?
I didn't know, but thank you for pointing out.
Yeah, I mean, there might be a small little Easter egg or something. I don't know. Who knows? But
So can I just literally jump back to the titles real quickly, because I noticed that there was, what I'm like for the titles with the movie, with these shows.
Oh yeah.
So we had I just got a few notes, and then I'll be on par with you. So I just put the intro. We had grains of sand, which seemed to first form what looked like 9 rings, possibly alluding to the 9 rings of men.
Oh, okay.
And then we see 2 trees, which I believe symbolize the white tree of Nimloth in Numenor, which looks very similar to the Gondorian armor that is in the movies.
Okay.
And then I noticed there was black sand that would also seem to be taking over the golden speckles. Could that be Mordor vibes?
That's a good point.
And then the last thing I saw was the titles, which were really cool, Rings of Power.
Mm-hmm.
And then it looked like what it looked like was 3 elven rings on the thing, which would symbolize the elven rings that we are getting in season 1 with the storylines and stuff like that. So I don't know. I just thought I'd mention that because I'm a big nerd for secrets within intro titles.
So are you finding that the first 2 intros were different?
I don't remember if we got one in the first one. I think it was episode 2 where we got the title intro.
Oh,
I
so
don't remember one in the first.
We didn't get that in the original. Okay.
I don't remember.
I'll have to go back and take a look now. I didn't know if there were if you caught some different things, but you're saying that's just the first time you think you've seen it. Okay.
I think that's the first time I think I've seen it. Yeah, because I made a more mental note in my head of it when I seen it.
Yeah, I can't remember now. Now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and then we literally cut to this scene where she's in the water. So I just wanted to be able to catch up with you in your spreadsheet. That's all.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I'm glad you brought that up because now I'm going to pay attention to it. I usually skip those. I
don't know if it changes. I don't know if it changes. I just noticed those things, and I thought, I wonder if that's anything to do with the rings of men and the elven rings, and there was black sand and gold, and I thought, hang on a minute, I know where this story's going probably. So let's see if that represents anything.
All right, well, very good, man. Like I said, that's why I love having you on here because I would never even brought that up. So, all right. So after we see Glinda in the water, or Glindria in the water, we flash over to Nori and Poppy. And if you don't remember from the end of episode 1, they saw some type of meteor, rocket, something crash into the earth. So they head over there and they try to figure out what is going on over here. So we see this big fire, and we notice that the fire does not hurt when she touches it. So we get to meet the stranger, is what they're calling him. And I know we both have a few theories on who this is and who it could be. But the stranger, he's just kind of chilling there. And honestly, dude, like, there's one thing that he reminds me of a lot.
I'm not dead. Yeah. He says he's not dead. Yes, he is. I'm not.
So he reminds me of him.
Yeah.
He's just laying there. So
you think you would be dead if you landed from the sky like that?
Well, it's funny you say that because during the scene, Nori says they're trying to figure out who this is. Like, is it an elf? Is it a human? And I know she makes a comment saying, well, if it was a human, you know, how could he have survived that? So I know that was one of the comments that she had made. So I don't know. First time you saw him, what did you think?
Super freaky, crazy. Kind of sentiment to the comments I made last week about how, I don't know, she didn't seem to be hot. It didn't look hot. It just looked bright, and it was a bit weird. And then I made those connections to what was said at the very start of the first episode. And I don't know, maybe it's Sauron. I do think it could be. I don't know, but yeah, it's super freaky, super crazy. I wasn't expecting that to even happen. Like, it threw me completely left field. Like, what? There's a meteorite. What the hell?
Yeah,
you know.
It was definitely a weird way to end episode 1. So I'm just really curious to see what's going to end up happening with this character, because right now he's probably the most intriguing character, and we see more in this episode with him as well. Mm-hmm. So with several warnings going off saying that they should probably just leave this dude alone. But Nori decides that they should take the stranger back to the village. So they start kind of lugging him up this giant hill, and we get a little comedic relief here. I don't know how much. I mean, I know even in the Hobbits in the original series, they were a little bit on the comedic side, especially like Poppin and I can't remember the other guy's name, not Sam, but the other one. What did you think about like the little, like, we just came from the serious scene from the water. Okay, yeah, she's alive. Then we see this, the meteor and what happens, and then they get that little joke in there when the cart or whatever he's on starts rolling down the hill. How'd you feel about that?
So I take comedic value in fantasy shows as the innocent party.
Yeah.
So I see it's the innocent people in the storyline that can be funny, because you don't really get the bad guy being funny with the funny quips and jokes. I don't know. I've always thought that the Hobbits were cool and funny, but they didn't really form much of a need for the storyline. They just seemed to be there, I don't know. Of course, Frodo does what Frodo does, but he's one Hobbit, and you've also got other Hobbit, which is Bilbo Baggins. They're the two notable Hobbits that we know of. So I'm waiting to see which one of these half-halfers are going to be the notable character going forward. I don't think we're going to stick with them all constantly. I think it's going to be some sort of journey, maybe.
I mean, I think it's leading toward Nori. I mean, I think she kind of has the most lines, and she seems to be the most important right now. So
yeah, I deem comedy and stuff and that kind of, I don't know, just as the innocent parties and all of this, it's trying to just show us that these guys are just innocent, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I just thought it was a little bit of a weird spot for it because we don't really know much about him, and one of my theories is when I watched the episode the first time, I thought maybe this is Gandalf, and Gandalf, not that he was a comedic character at all, but he had a few lines here and there that was a little bit funny in the original trilogy. So that's why I was like, okay, maybe they're throwing that in there to let people know that this is not like some big bad or something. But you think it's Sauron.
It could be. I do think it could be.
Yeah. So it's just weird that they would throw like a little comedy. I just thought it was a little misstep in the episode. I just thought it was strange. But hey, we'll see what happens. Down the road.
I completely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. What's up, Baby Ice, and what's up, Kenneth? How you guys doing, man?
Hey, Baby Ice. Hey, Kenneth. Thanks for being here, guys.
So my first thoughts on Nori after seeing her a little bit in episode 1, and then this scene here, and then a little bit she's in a little bit more too in the episode. So I see that you could tell Nori's got like a good heart. You can see that, and for some reason I'm not sure why, unless maybe you caught this, but I feel like why does she? So she believes that it's her responsibility to take care of this guy, and the way basically what she says is, well, he could have landed anywhere, but he landed right in front of us. So I guess it's kind of like she believes like that's her fate to take care of him. Do you catch anything else with this? Like why she wants to help this guy?
No, it's very strange. Like,
yeah,
I did think that to myself. Like, if I was in this situation, first of all, I would have ran away from the meteor crash. I wouldn't have run to it. Like, of course, curiosity and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I wouldn't be wheeling the guy down, helping him if I didn't know who he was. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's strange. It's definitely strange that she seems connected to the situation and everything that's going on.
Yeah, it just, they don't tell you much. It's just like basically she just feels like she needs to do this. So I mean, maybe we'll find out more about this relationship or whatever happens. But I just it's just a little bit strange overall. But again, I do go back to, I think that she does have a good heart and she wants to help him. So next scene here, you can see that they're kind of helping him. They kind of have him sleeping. He's resting, and they are again just kind of talking about. And I think this is the actual scene where they're actually talking about like why do you want to take him back to the village, and basically everything we just said happens here. Then we jump over to Brown. I think it's Bronwyn, and is it Arendor or Arendor?
Arendelle, yeah.
Arendelle, okay. So they are this is a scene that we kind of were teased with at the end of the last episode, where they're kind of walking into I think it's Horde, and they could see the whole town's on fire. So what they decide to do is kind of check things out here, and they discover inside one of the ruined buildings from the fire. They see I think it's like a dead goat or something, and they end up finding this passage that through the floor, and they are not arguing, but they're talking about what human could have done this, and Arendelle, is it? Say it one more time, Ryan. Arendelle.
Arendelle.
Arondir. Arendelle. Yeah, they don't say his name very often. That's it's a little tough.
Arondir, something like that.
Arendelle. Anyways, so they find this passage, and he doesn't believe it's any kind of human. He doesn't think a human could do that type of hole. So he basically decides to split up with her. He wants to go investigate, and he sends her back down to her village and to tell her people what they had discovered. Anything to add on this scene? What did you think about this?
So obviously I've watched Lord of the Rings, and I know that the orcs are down in the caves and stuff,
right?
And they can't go in sunlight and all that stuff, so that's how they get around in the underground. But I was more thinking about the fire I was trying to figure out how the fire was caused. I'm not 100% sure. I have some theory, but maybe the hilt thing that we saw, that that weird sword thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that might have caused it, and could have even caused the hole in the ground. Like literally, that was that hot. But it looks like it's just a torch in the ground, so it doesn't look like it's the hilt or anything.
That torch he actually throws in there.
Yeah,
he throws it in. So, but yeah, so they set up a little mystery with these two. It's I was not that I was disappointed, but like I just thought like, okay, they're finally together. It kind of took the whole episode, but then they're splitting them right back up again. So I thought that was a little bit strange. I don't know. Again,
they're keeping the characters connected, I think.
Yeah, that's true. So then we head over to I believe it's pronounced Aragon. Yeah. Aragon. And this is the realm of the Elven Smiths. So this is one of the Elven cities, and we see our boy from the first episode, Elrond, and here he is looking over, I believe it's called Feanor's hammer.
Feanor's hammer, yeah.
Yes, and Celebrior. Yeah, these names are crazy.
Yeah.
So he's not in the image here, but he is also there. He's talking about the hammer, about how it's a tool that's both beautiful and painful. So they get into a conversation here about how Celebrimbor,
that's it.
Yeah, so he wants to build a massive forge, more powerful than anyone that's ever been built. But Gil-galad, who's like the king or the ruler, he's not offering a workforce for this. So basically, it looks like Elrond came instead of anybody else to help. So why do you think he wants to build this forge?
To protect the forge,
because that's what the whole idea is. They want to build that great forge. I don't know if it's to make weapons or what. I'm not really sure.
I got the vibe in the first episode that they were needing to protect the city. So I don't know. Yeah, I think that he's a smith. He, in the laws, Celebrimbor, in the laws of the books, is very connected with the dwarves and very connected with the smiths there. And as I mentioned in the first episode, I think that Celebrimbor is the guy that will eventually make the Elden Rings of Power. He is the smith guy for it. So I just think he's wanting to get into that connection. And obviously talking to Elrond about it, he knows that he's connected to Durin, which we'll later find out in the episode.
Yeah, so that's actually where I'm going next. So because what's his name again? Gil-galad. Because he's not off. Because here's the thing, like, so they want to make this thing built before the next spring. I don't know what maybe the fall and the summer, something like that. Maybe we're in right now. They don't really tell us, but you figure it was within the next year that they want to get this forge built. So what they do is they head over to Khazad-dûm. And this is where the dwarves live at, and this is the realm of the dwarves. So we get to finally get to go inside and see the innards of the dwarven cave. So this is,
as a Lord of the Rings fan, when I knew that we were going to be going to Khazad-dûm, I was hyped because I have wanted to see what this looked like in its best and biggest grandeur that we could possibly get. And knowing that they spent so much money on these episodes, I was not disappointed. But yeah, sorry to cut you up. And Baby Ice, this is on Amazon. This is on Amazon Prime.
Right, and this is...
Or reach out to me and I can help.
What was that?
Baby Ice was asking if this was on Amazon Prime. I said yes, it is, or she could reach out to me and I can help.
Yeah, Amazon Prime. Yep.
Yep.
So we head over to the entrance, and he's trying to get inside, and he's throwing out his buddy's name, Durin, and whoever the guard is at the door here, he doesn't seem to care at all. So what he has to do to get in is and I'm going to butcher this name too, but he invokes the right of, is it Signin Tarig? How to pronounce that?
Say it again.
He evokes the right of, is it Sigyn Targ? Sigyn Targ?
Sigyn Tarag. Sigyn Tarag.
Okay. So that allows him to be entry. So basically what it is that he is basically going to challenge Durin to a battle of endurance of smashing rocks with a hammer.
Yeah, it's basically a way of testing the arrogance of a dwarf and saying, if you're not going to let me in, I will test your strength, which they can never turn down. So it's like basically an easy way to get in, you know?
Yeah. And then we do get to see some really, really nice scenes of the the inside of the caves. So this is one shot I just thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, guys watching, be thankful that Headless has got episode 2, because if I had Khazad-dûm to break down, we would have 60 shots of Khazad-dûm, because I am hyped. I am so hyped for this area and everything that this place can do. It's brilliant. So yeah, be thankful that we haven't got that many with Headless.
Yeah, there was a ton, and I kind of took like 4 or 5 screenshots, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to make this like a 20-minute segment. So
yeah, I could probably do a whole live just on Khazad-dûm.
You're probably you're probably right. So here they are doing their endurance. So that's kind of what it is. They put a bigger stone on top of a anvil or a rock or whatever that is on the bottom there, and he has this huge hammer. And it's basically they're just going to be taking turns going back and forth until one person can't break the rock. Now we do see the conclusion of this a little later in the episode, but just for sake of time, what ends up happening here is they go on for quite a while, it seems like, and then eventually Elrond does fall, and at that point we then do a jump back over to Nori.
So I just want to add a couple of things in about when they were fighting and a couple of things that were seen. So when they first enter into Khazad-dûm, you hear a quavered term, which is Elmendia, which is said by Elrond. As he enters and sees it for the first time, he says Elmendia. Now that translates, it's a term of wonderment. So it's like he's in wonder of how amazing it looks. So that was, I just wanted to give that translation to people if they were wondering what he said. And then also, Sigyn Tarag translates to long beards, which is another name for Doran's folk, the dwarves of Khazad-dûm, the Longbeards. So that was the name of the Sigyn Tarag. And then also a note on Elrond's clothing when he was in this tournament kind of thing, competition. He had knocked my microphone over. He had feathers on his shoulders. I don't know if you noticed the attire he was wearing. He had feathers on his shoulders, and that was a massive, what I believe was a huge callback to his mother. Now, a quick breakdown of his mother. Her name was Elwing, and she is famed for when she dove into the sea to escape the kingslaying of her kind. She was temporarily given the form of a white bird as she flew to reunite with her husband. So the story goes that his mother flew as a white bird, and she had these beautiful wings, and that's what I believe the feathers on his shoulders represent, was in signification to his mother. So just wanted to add that little bit of detail for people that might have seen those things.
Wow, that's good, dude. I had no idea. Yeah, I'm not. I like Lord of the Rings, but as far as like digging into that depth, like
just because I've read the Silmarillion, I've read the book in the past, so I know.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Let's see. So then we jump back to Nori, and this is when she finds the stranger. He's like no longer in that little sleeping area or wherever they ended up putting him in that little covered area. So then she kind of walks and she sees him awake, and he lets out this massive scream once he sees. And this is a pretty cool scene because all the trees are like moving. He's moving everything, and this is not like the second time that he's kind of done something like this with her. And I personally, like, I don't know how she's not like somewhat afraid, although none of it's actually affected her or hurt her in any way. So I think it's just interesting that she's still kind of sticking with him, because this is a pretty like weird scene. If you're just, don't really know somebody and they're doing like all these crazy magical powers, and the other thing too I didn't mention earlier was when she did end up finding him, when he woke up, like he was lifting rocks, like rocks were being lifted. I don't know if he was doing it or if it was just like the power that he possesses or something, because that was another thing that's that we did see in that opening scene there.
For me, this whole thing, it felt like a callback for Gandalf. I felt like it was a point for Headless in this thing for me, because Gandalf does the same thing to Bilbo in Bag End. He's nice and kind with him, and then when he's talking about the ring, because I was watching quotes and movie clips the other day, and Gandalf goes all like dark and mysterious, and he's like, "I would never steal the ring from you," and I don't know, it kind of maybe gave me flashbacks that it could be Gandalf. So I don't know. I when you said what you said, and then when I made the connection with the fire, it's like they're making it definitely one way or the other, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to end up being one of the two. So, so after he does his scream, she kind of basically says, "Let's make a deal. I'm not going to hurt you. You don't hurt me." And I think they get some type of agreement, even though he doesn't really speak. So for me, the next scene, she's almost showing him how to eat the whatever they're eating, the fruits or whatever.
Some snails.
Is that what they were?
Yeah, they were eating delicious snails.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what they were eating. So they're eating snails, and it's almost like he acts like an infant, though. Like everything she does, he's like copying. So it's really interesting that he looks like a probably a 60-year-old guy, 50, 60-year-old guy, with the big old beard, but he's acting like an infant. So something with that meteor, something has to give with that. What did you think about that whole scene with him copying her?
I felt like it was just the symbol of this person had been reborn through the meteor, and he was relearning speech and all this kind of stuff. And that's what happens when you're a baby. You mimic the things that you hear and stuff. So I don't know, maybe it's just speech. It's just speech learning thrown in our faces, I guess, on screen. I don't know. I got that kind of term from it. That he would. I don't know. Maybe by the end of the episode, he's reciting a big spell, and he just learns so quickly because of the powers or whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting what they're doing with this character, and so far so good. And them, just like I said, they're just calling him the Stranger, so that means absolutely nothing to the viewer at this point. So then we see him pick up a stick, and it looks like he's drawing something out for her. And then at the same time, we see the town people, and they're like, we see Nori's father, and they're actually trying to they're trying to build something, and we see that the stick breaks when he's drawing out this map, and then all of a sudden we see his ankle break. Nori's
father Largo breaks his ankle.
Yeah. So the entire ankle breaks, and then she goes back and checks on him and stuff, and he says he's okay, but he can't put weight on it. So again, there's something going on with him, and just something with powers, obviously.
You don't notice what he was drawing out with the stick either?
I have no idea what he's drawing. I was trying to figure it out. I watched it a couple times. I mean, there's it looks like a bunch of lines, maybe a ladder or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. What did you think?
Okay, so for the eagle eyes that are watching it, it clearly looks like it's Mordor. The land mass on the map. It looks like he's drawing Mordor. So this is what I was saying to you earlier about how in one conversation he comes across like Gandalf, and then in the next scene he's drawing signs of Mordor, and it comes across like it's Sauron. So it's it's just one of those.
So it's almost like he's doing both. He's like both. He's like
Yeah, feels like that.
Yeah, and more happens at the end of the episode too. So we'll talk about that when we get there. So then we head back to the water, and this is kind of like Galandria's view here. So she sees some wreckage or something. It's hard to tell from the distance. So she starts to make her way over there. So this is weird a little bit, just because we don't know how long she's actually been in this water. And I mean, if anyone's ever been in the ocean trying to swim, especially that deep, it's not easy. So, again, I don't know how long she's been in that water since her ship got destroyed, but she heads on over, and she meets this young gentleman, and his name is I think it's Halbrand.
Halbrand, yeah.
Halbrand. Yeah, so he seems to be part of a crew that also their ship also got destroyed. It seems like there's about 6 or 7 people on there, and they're just kind of randomly floating. And they do invite her on board, and then when it's revealed she's an elf, it's so. Did I miss something here? Because like the one lady on board, she was like, "Oh, you tricked us." So what? Did I miss something here? Because I'm like, well, why? And I rewound it and watched it again, and I'm like, okay, so what was the issue, or they just don't like elves?
Elves aren't usually seen in this far across the water. Yeah.
But why did she say she tricked her? Is it just because she had her hair over her ears? Is that what she was talking about?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because if she'd have seen her with her ears in the water, she probably wouldn't have helped.
Okay.
She wouldn't have said help that person.
Okay, so that's okay. That makes sense then. I just didn't know if there's some kind of deeper meaning there because I was like, oh,
yeah, because she woke up and it looked like there was like a sea creature, like the sea creature kind of took down the ship.
Yeah, and then after they kind of get to know each other a tad, we see the sea creatures coming at them again.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
It just means I'm on point with the episode.
That's right. But yeah, so we get to see this big old sea worm or something, and
so just a quick reference because all of you know that I love House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones and George R.R. Martin. Tolkien in his own books referenced his sea serpents as, I did write it. Fun fact: Tolkien referred to his sea serpents as fish dragons. So y'all should definitely use that term in the future because I know I bloody will be.
Fish dragons.
So, fish dragons. And that's a fact, guys. You can even go and look that up yourself. Milky isn't chatting anything rubbish. It literally is. That's what Tolkien said.
I like it, sea dragons. Or we said, well, what sea dragon? What was it?
Yeah. Fish dragons. Fish dragons.
I like sea dragon better though.
Sea dragon is better, yeah.
Yeah, fish dragon. All right, I'll have to write that one down. So we see the fish dragon here, or the sea worm, whatever you like to call him. So he starts heading toward their wreckage and basically kills everyone except for Galadriel, who gets pushed off actually and decides to swim away. Then we finally learn that Halbrand is actually still alive, and I guess I didn't have a picture of it. Halbrand is still alive because he ended up detaching a piece of the wreckage, and he kind of floats away. And then after that, he ends up picking her up and all that. But we'll get to that in a little bit.
One of the first lines that we hear from Halbrand as well is "looks can be deceiving." It's one of the first lines he says.
Okay. So what is he talking about? Her?
I don't know. Yeah, he seemed to be just talking about her. I don't know. It was weird. Weird line to say, and I picked up on it. I was like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah. So then we head back to
Khazad-dûm,
and we see Durin has now introduced Elrond to his wife, and he's got a couple kids. And basically, long story short, he is mad at Elrond because they were friends, and he never came to his wedding, never even met his wife, never met his kids. Basically, kind of lived his own life and kind of like forgot about him altogether. So basically, here is he's asking them for the help to create or to build that great forge, and but they basically kind of come and agree that okay, I could probably do it. And there's a few more scenes, but I mean, for the big gist of this is that it looks like they're going to end up helping them. Going to add anything?
Yeah, I wanted to add that because you skipped quite a bit forward, I think, especially some of the stuff I enjoyed in the episode. So for me, these two, Durin and Elrond, are the best characters in this show so far. They are brilliant. I love the connection that we seem to be getting with them. Like, and we see he loses the fight earlier on, the competition with the stones. We see that he lost that. Yeah. And he escorts him out, and we get some dialogue from him that he seems to be mad at him because he's not been around for so long. He's not visited. And we get the thing where he's telling him, "You are not staying for dinner. You are not staying for dinner." And then as soon as he meets his wife, it's like, he's staying for dinner. it was that's where I believe the comedy should be with these guys and not with the Harfoots.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because Gimli was always funny,
Yeah. Yeah.
And the elf with Legolas, like, don't tell the dwarf you tossed me, things like that, like fantastic lines. So that's where I enjoyed the comedy. But yeah, it looks like he needs his help, doesn't he, with some stuff. So I don't know where we're going to go with it.
Yeah, and again, I didn't put down every single scene. I kind of combined some scenes, which is why I skipped some stuff.
Yeah, no, I completely get this. You do you. That's the way you do it. So
yeah, so I mean, but the whole gist of this whole little plot, like you said, but Jim trying to reconcile and trying to get his help, because again, there's even another scene which I know I don't even go over toward the end of the episode where he's talking to I don't remember his name, the older guy, the older dwarf. And it seems like they basically agreed to help them.
His father?
Is that who it is? Okay, that was his father.
Durin. They're both called Durin.
Oh, so this is because he's like Durin the Fourth or something, right?
Yeah. So in the laws of dwarves, the first dwarf was called Durin, and what they do is if you look of similar presence to the old king and you have the same mannerisms and the same way of being a dwarf, then you are granted the name of Durin again, as like a reincarnation of the original. So that's why you get a lot of Dorins within the dwarven lines, because the original one was Durin, just for anybody that's interested in the lore. But yeah, that's why he's called Durin and his father's called Durin. It is a little bit annoying, but hey, we're used to this. Aemon, Tamon, game on. So,
Yeah, this is very true.
Yeah.
So we head back to Bronwyn's village here, and she's basically trying to tell the townspeople, this is like the first little, whatever, what do you want to call it, a restaurant, or I don't know, what would they call this? But it's where they go.
Where hot pie works.
What is it?
Where hot pie would work from Game of Thrones.
Where hot pie would, yeah, like a tavern. And he's basically trying to tell these people, like, listen, this is what we found. And they're really not believing her in any way. So at this point, she's going to start heading back to her house, to her son. And then we kind of flash forward to Theo here. And Theo is sick and tired of hearing these rats underneath the floorboard. So he takes a crowbar and starts smashing the floor. And he ends up making a small hole. And I don't know what he thought he was going to do with these rats when he did this. But instead of rats, we end up seeing this creature with his eye pointing right back at him, making these crazy noises. And he ends up hiding. So, I mean, did you know what was going on here right away?
I knew it was an orc.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was an orc, and I was so glad that it was just a single orc. Because, all the way through these films and these movies that we see, we see hundreds and thousands of them, and they're always going up against the biggest armies in the realm, and that's why there's hundreds in there. It was just nice to see how one orc could draw so much fear in in a small area. So yeah, it was cool. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I liked what they did here too. It definitely gives some vibes of a horror movie of being hunted, and again, most people probably knew it was an orc, but if you weren't all into Lord of the Rings, you probably didn't really know what it was yet. So you have a little mystery there too. And I also like, I think it's the next slide actually.
Thank you, Danny, for that comment. He says Milky's been doing his research. I said,
oh yeah. Yeah,
I went into House of the Dragon with all the knowledge of Game of Thrones, and I thought, how do I follow up this kind of stuff, with the live shows? So I get myself deep dives into it. That's why we waited until it was finished, so that I had the mental capability to be able to do this kind of stuff. Sorry to interrupt you again, Headless.
No, man, you're good. So let's see, where am I here? Oh, so the next thing we do, we go back to our hero here. I've been calling him the Kristen Cole.
Arendelle.
Yeah, the Kristen Cole of the show. Good looking guy. And it's funny here because we see him in the tunnels, and I try to snap the picture of when he gets grabbed, because he gets grabbed by a couple orcs that he's kind of trying to get away from. I must have missed the hands, because I thought I hit it, but maybe I didn't. But I went back and tried a couple times. I just couldn't get it. But right behind him are there like about 2 or 3 orcs, and they end up grabbing him and dragging him away. And that's pretty much the last time we see him in this episode. So what did you think about this?
So in the trailer, because I remember seeing this scene in the trailer for the show, and I thought that they were tree hands when I first saw this. And with the story of the Ents and stuff with the walking trees, I didn't make the connection. So yeah, when I first watched it again, it was cool. It was freaky, and I liked the darkness. It was like, oh, this is getting interesting, you know. Yeah, so I was hyped for it, but I obviously thought he wasn't going to die because they've been pushing him in front of our face so quickly.
Right. You know, the other thing I liked about it is that I liked how they made him. Although it was an elf, but they definitely make him like a human being, like being afraid of something. Because when he's in those tunnels, you know, he kind of comes across as like kind of a badass a little bit, but man, he sees those shadows and he thinks he sees something coming. He's like, this, I'm out of here. So I kind of like that he's not just like the all brave and just goes right for the fight, and because he doesn't really understand what's happening either, I don't think.
And I do like, I think I'm right in saying, I know Danny's here, and Danny's probably a more nerd of this kind of stuff than I am, but I believe Arendelle, I did say this last week, is a non-canon character. He's a made-up character for the show.
Right.
So I'm super intrigued as to where they go with his storyline, because, you know, are they going to connect it to something that is canon or something, you know, I don't know. So it's really interesting, and definitely Grey Worm the Second says something fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I find myself wanting to see this storyline almost more than anybody else's right now. And like when he gets taken away, I kind of assume we weren't going to see him the rest of the episode because it was nearing the end a little bit, and you know we were about 40 minutes in here, and I'm like, they're probably going to save that for next episode, and sure enough, they do. But I really like, I'm kind of digging these two characters. I just, like I told you earlier, I was a little disappointed that they split up again, because right now I kind of feel like, I don't know. I kind of like that storyline right now is happening in the smaller village area than, you know, I mean, the whole sea thing is, for me, is a little strange the way that all took place, but in episode 3, you see where they're going with that, which is pretty cool. So anyways, so we're going back to Bronwyn's house, and she finds Theo hiding because there's some creature under the floorboards, and you can see the nice big scratch mark. I like that. I'm assuming that was made during while the creature was trying to find him. So right here, what do you think? Do you think the creature is already up and out? Where is he if he is out? Because like, what else would that scratch mark be? I was trying to figure that out, because like she walks in the house and she doesn't even see anything.
Good point. Yeah, I didn't notice that. Yeah, I think the creature is out.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, orc would not want to hide. I don't think. Like, you know, they're not going to be stealthy. I know. I thought there was just I don't know. I just thought it was a little strange, I guess. That she sees him. You know, and the things in that scratch mark is right there. Now, granted, maybe it wasn't from the orc. I don't know, but I kind of was thinking that's what
very well perceptive. I didn't catch the scratch mark, so very well perceptive.
So anyway, so what happens is she ends up she actually ends up wanting to leave the house because he you know, Theo's like, go get help, which is weird because like, why would he not just go with her? But you know, but she ends up leaving.
He's seen what he's hiding from, so he knows what he's hiding from, you know.
I guess, yeah. And so she kind of starts heading toward the door, and then, you know, decides that she's going to help protect him instead. So she ends up hiding in the closet, or that's, at least I think that's what it was. It was like a closet.
Natural mother instinct I got from that scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you're just going to help your baby when it's in danger. You know, you're going to hide with it.
Yep. And then, so she's hiding, and then you hear the orc kind of walking around the room. We still kind of don't know what it is as a viewer, but we get a really cool shot, and I'm digging the skull on the top of the orc. So that, you know, here you pretty much knew that's what it was, but I like the way the skull. Some of these guys wear these skulls, because I don't know if you saw that in the original trilogy. At least I don't remember.
So I purely believe he's just wearing the skull to protect his skin from the sun.
Okay. So that's all that's for.
Yeah, it's more of a menacing look, of course, but because they're underground, so the only kind of things that they're going to be able to get a hold of are skulls, and bones and stuff. So I genuinely believe, if I could be wrong again, I'm just speculating, but I think it would be because he looks all scorched. So I think he's been burned by the sun quite a lot.
Because did they die of the sun in the original trilogy?
They can't go in the sunlight. The Uruk-hai could, the original orcs, they could go in the sunlight. But the orcs couldn't.
Okay, I see. But yeah, the way that makes sense then. That's probably why he's hiding. So as long as their skin is not, as long as the sun does not.
Yeah, it's like a vampire,
Like a vampire, yeah. Because obviously he can cover.
They could be under a black robe and walk out and be fine, I believe.
Yeah. So after, this dude ends up finding where she's hiding. And after a pretty quick battle, to be honest with you, a quick little fight there, the orc does throw fuel around quite a bit. But basically, they end up taking the orc out. With
mother and son bonding time.
Yeah, and they end up stabbing and hanging him. And then he gets defeated, Ned Stark style here. And she brings the head to the townspeople, like, yo, you believe me now? So that was a pretty powerful scene, I thought. It was quick, and she just kind of walks in, slams the head down. So I thought that was a pretty badass thing to do. Yeah,
I loved it. You could have took any other body part, but you took the head, so it was cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm back at sea. We see that Galadriel gets tossed overboard because there was a huge storm that they were kind of going into as they left. And before this, I had skipped one thing I wanted to say. I'm trying to think where I was. Yeah, I don't remember what I was going to say now about this. Oh, here's the line that was kind of important. So basically, after they escaped from the worm and he picks her up, later on in that conversation, he tells her that there's evil growing in the east and also in the Southlands. So that's when they begin to start moving toward the storm clouds. But that's now a couple times that we've heard that the evil is growing. So I thought that was a pretty important line to go over.
Definitely.
So then she gets tossed into the water. She gets tossed overboard from the storm. And she had the rope wrapped around her, so she would not be able to
Yeah, she was tied to the raft.
Tied to the raft, right? And what ends up happening is she ends up, going straight down, and there's like a bucket, or not a bucket, but a
anchor.
No, was it an anchor?
Or was it?
No,
it looked like it. It was quite deep.
It was like a barrel or something, a smaller barrel. Yeah. They probably had something in it, and basically drug her down. So Halbrand ends up diving in to save her, and he does this by using her dagger. But miraculously, she is not lost in all this water, which is fantastic. So the dagger's right there, and he basically rescues her and brings her up.
Yeah, and coming back from the show that we've literally just broke down, we know how important daggers can be. That's so right. She's not gonna lose it. It's like, imagine losing Jon Snow's dagger in some. Imagine Aemon had it and he just lost it on the fight with Vhagar.
That's right. We hop back over to Nori and Poppy and the stranger, and the girls walk up with these lanterns, and the lanterns are actually full of lightning bugs, and he's kind of freaked out by it at first. And then the lady, I don't know, again, I guess he's the one who makes the ladybugs all come out like that. And what ends up happening here is he ends up showing them, or probably Nori more, that there's like these stars that he wants to be found. And so these fireflies almost like fly up into the air and directly create these stars. And Nori says that she has never seen those before. But and then what's a weird thing she says? She's like, "But I know where we can go to find them." And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "You just said you never seen them before." So I thought that was weird.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
On that specifically, I haven't got a clue what she means.
Yeah.
But again, I'm going to take this back to, they keep throwing Gandalf in my face. Gandalf So Gandalf whispers to the moths in the Peter Jackson movies, and the Meteor Man or the Stranger, he whispers to the fireflies, and they make the constellation, don't they, of the arrangement in the sky. So I don't know. They keep doing it to me. They keep, Gandalf did this thing in the shows where he's whispering to the moth, and he gets saved by the eagles, and they come and save him, and then we find the Stranger doing the same thing. So I don't know. I that's what I picked up from this scene. I keep getting the Gandalf reference.
It's definitely there, but then here's the weird thing about it. Next scene, Poppy picks up one of the lightning bugs, and the light goes out. So to me, that's like death, right? So then I'm going back to, okay, maybe it is Sauron.
This is what I'm saying. They keep doing it every scene I get.
Right.
I get back and forth, and that's all I seem to click onto. Yeah, it's really, really interesting, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, it is interesting, and that's why it's like they just keep like you said.
Yeah, Danny just let us know in the chat. Gandalf did have an affinity with fire.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
So
it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. Yeah, but I have to believe it's gonna be one of the two. It just kind of makes sense. Then we hop back over to Theo and Brownwyn, and they're in the Southlands, and they're preparing to head out. And Theo is holding what looks to be like one of Sauron's trinkets. It looks like like a like a handle of a sword or something. And what happens is he through his fight with the orc, he had a little cut, and some of the blood runs down onto the handle, and all of a sudden, like we see like this shadow and fire, and it just, you can kind of almost look like it's making that eye. That's kind of what I'm getting out of that. And and after that, he hears his mom call for him, and he ends up placing it in his bag after the flame goes out, and then they are heading off to the Elf Watch Tower. So I don't know, do you want to add anything with this scene here, with this trinket?
No, I know I kind of added that in earlier. I don't know if when we saw the town on fire, whether that was a scene from earlier or future, because I don't know. They leave, and he leaves this thing here, so I didn't know if that thing set the town on fire.
Well, he found this in episode 1, so because we saw him find this in episode 1, and then the fire happens in the beginning of episode 2 and of episode 1. So it's possible. They made this.
I just don't want to make it. Yeah, when this happens here, and then he gets called. Does this just die down? Did he turn it off? Did he cover it up, or is this now raging fire? I didn't understand what was going on with it.
I think that when she called for him, it kind of just went out.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
Yeah, I was just looking for a little bit more, like, I don't know, something. Give me more visual to see what was going on with this. It seemed really quick.
It is super quick. Like I said, to get some of these shots, like I had like I tried so many different times to get more, and it's like it's difficult to do because it's so fast.
It definitely looks like it's a part of Sauron's sword.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought it was too. Yeah.
Sauron's huge sword that we see in the fights. So I believe it's something to do with that, but we'll see. Danny says in the chat, he says, I'll give my opinion on who the Stranger is later on in the series. Okay, thank you, Danny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome in, Dead Zone Citizen.
What's up, Dead Zone? And then the episode basically closes out with Galadriel and Halbrand as they're saved, and we don't really know who this is. Because obviously they're on a boat, and you obviously find out in episode 3, which we'll talk about tomorrow. Did you have any idea? Do you have any guesses of who this might have been? I honestly had no idea. She doesn't look too worried, so I guess I was thinking at one point maybe it was like Celebrimbor. But I'm like, well, why would he be on the ship though right now? Like it didn't really make sense to me. But I don't know. Did you have any?
Yeah. I knew we were going to go to an island in this series. I knew we were going to go to the birthplace of the men and the cities of grandeur, and I knew we were going to go to Numenor. So when we were in the water, I kind of knew that, okay, this is how we're going to get to Numenor, because she's stranded in the water. She's going to get picked up. and she's gonna. So I believe that this is Elendor. Elendor, I believe this is her name, Elendor. Or is it a guy? Is this a guy? I couldn't quick.
Yeah, I'm still learning. I'm still trying to learn the names from House of the Dragon.
Yeah,
now,
I think this is.
Now I got all these other ones. At least the House of the Dragon names, they kind of like sound like regular names. These are not like that at all. But yeah. So I mean, that was basically the episode. Again, I did enjoy it more than episode 1. And I am about halfway through episode 3. And I'm gonna finish that tonight, and I'll probably watch that one again tomorrow because I do feel like watching it twice is very helpful. And yeah, so tomorrow we'll be live on your channel. So there you go.
We will be live on my channel, and everybody watching will be heading to Numenor. And yep. I'm so glad that I have got Numenor as an episode to break down because it's majestic. It looks so bloody fantastic, and it's so cool. And I have loved so far. First 2 episodes in, I've loved the visual aspect that we've been given. I've loved the audio aspect of the realms. Like some of the music, like the Khazad-dûm theme tune when the doors opened and you hear the music play. Oh my god! Like I've bought new headphones off Amazon 2 days ago just so I can experience these shows properly with ears, because I have earbuds, but they're not the best. I've now got some proper new headphones to experience all this because I'm a massive sound guy when it comes to TV and movies. But yeah, dude, I loved it. Great breakdown. I'm interested to know what people in the chat thought of episode 2.
Yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about episode 2? So episode 1, did we rate that last week? I can't remember if we did or not.
I don't think we did, no, because we were all on a bit of a kerfuffle. We were like, hey, we're going to do episode 1 and episode 2 the same week, and then we were like, damn, it's too much.
Yeah, we'll be on here for hours.
Episode 1 was a 6 for me, 6 or a 7. Made me want to keep watching though, so it's higher than 5.
Yeah, I think I gave episode 1 like a 6.5. This episode for me was probably like an 8.5 though, because I really liked it. I liked how they set up the next episode. Like there's like 3 or 4 different like little cliffhangers, even at the end of this episode, that definitely moves the plot. And again, watching it a second time, I love going through all of the scenes in the Dwarven caves. I just like you could tell where that money was spent. Like it just looks amazing, and it doesn't. I mean, obviously it's probably mostly CGI, but it looks so amazing and real. It's really cool. So this episode, I would say 8.5 for me.
Yeah, I'd say 8 for me too. As soon as I realized that we were going to Numenor next week, I was like, oh my god, have to watch it. Like, it made me want to watch. So yeah, definitely super excited. And we're going to break it down tomorrow. It's going to be a great one. Danny says in the chat, a couple of things to know about the time frame. The world is flat, and numerous is not allowed to sail to the west.
Oh, yeah, they mentioned that in episode 3, the part I've already watched. They said that. Well, I don't want to give away too much for tomorrow, but yeah, they do say that.
Okay.
Yeah, they do say that, because they make mention they haven't sailed that far in, like, since the grandfather's grandfather or something, or her grandfather.
Okay, cool,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
So the world is
break
flat.
that down tomorrow, though. So they still think the world is flat.
Okay.
Well, that's important to know then. Yeah.
Thank you, Danny. I appreciate that. And Umpty says as well in the chat that he will say after the finale too, because there's too much to spoil, because Umpty's seen it all. So
okay. Yeah,
Numenor,
I'm really
okay. Numenor is not allowed. Okay.
I'm really excited to get to like episode 3 and 4 in. You know, I don't want to go too fast because I also like to rewatch. But I kind of want to keep watching now too. So we'll see. We'll see how this week goes. I mean, there's not a whole lot on TV right now, so I don't know. Maybe I'll get through it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I like to theorize too. That's why I kind of been going one episode at a time before we do these lives, because I just, I like to try to figure out what's going on and kind of talk about it a little bit. So Numenor is, so we are talking off on the backstage. So Numenor is across the ocean or sea from
off the coast of Middle Earth. Yeah.
Okay. So is it like a continent, like Middle
yeah,
Earth?
It's an island. It's a star-shaped island, and it was given to the people that dwell this island as a gift.
Okay.
And on this island, it is gathered all of the rich and amazing people from the realm. So you go there. Aragorn, the King Aragorn in Lord of the Rings, he's from there. He's a descendant of Numenor.
Okay.
Gandalf says that in the movies. It is the descendant of Numenor. And they are believed and known to have lived longer than normal men. They have a connection with the elves. So they have a longer life. Yeah, it's really, really cool. And I'm sure you've seen episode 3, I'm right? I've seen it too, so.
Me?
Yeah, have you seen episode 3?
I've seen half of it. I'm gonna finish it after this, and then I'll rewatch it again tomorrow.
Cool.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm about halfway through. I'm just a little confused in a couple areas, but just talking here, some of it makes more sense to me now. So
okay.
Yeah, and and there's some new characters we're gonna meet, so we'll dive into that tomorrow for sure. But yeah, so I don't know. Anything else? Any final thoughts on this one before we head into tomorrow?
No, I'm super excited to see what's going on, and they just, like I say, they just keep throwing at me this. The one thing I can't get out of my head when I think of Rings of Power is this stranger guy. They keep throwing at me: is it Gandalf? Is it Sauron? Is it Gandalf? Is it Sauron? And I don't know who it's going to be. And then you see things on the internet. It could be a blue wizard, and I'm like, okay, it could be a blue wizard, but we don't see much of the blue wizards or hear much about them, so I doubt it would be. I think if they're going to connect it to the fans of this, this world and the lore of this histories.
Well, no, and I know we talked last week too, and I know I don't think you did not think it was Saruman. You don't think that? You don't think he's in play at all here?
No. So
why do you think that? Because I still kind of in the back of my mind kind of think it might be him too. We're in the original Lord of the Rings movie in Fellowship, weren't they friends? Gandalf and Saruman?
Yeah.
So why do you think it couldn't be him?
I don't know. I just didn't. I didn't connect with Saruman's character as much as I did Gandalf, of course, and I think that was meant to be in that show. Okay. But I don't know. I get the vibe that it's either Gandalf or it's Sauron. Like, we've had Mordor signatures, and we've had whispering to flying objects. So there's two very, very strong connections to either character.
Yeah. Umpty says that the Blue Wizards come to Middle Earth together, so he doesn't think it's the Blue Wizards.
Okay.
So the Blue Wizards in Lord of the Rings?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so, because I'm like, wait, because I never even heard of that. To be honest with
you. In the books, I believe the Blue Wizards come to Middle Earth before Gandalf. That's why I have an issue with, if this is Gandalf, where are the Blue Wizards? And then we've also got Radagast, and we've also got Sauron. He could be Radagast. It could be a weird origin story to Radagast, if you know who that is.
I don't actually.
Have you seen The Hobbit?
I did. I mean, dude, I've seen a long time ago.
Radagast is the one that rides around with all the animals in the wood on the weird, like, truck, like Alice in Wonderland. Weird.
That guy.
That's Radagast. Yeah, he's a wizard too.
Oh, okay. It's been and I've definitely have not seen the Hobbit movies as many times as I saw Lord of the Rings. Like, I saw the second one, I think the most. Like, I think I saw it 3 times, but the other ones I think I only saw once. Like, I barely remember them. But yeah, okay, so that makes sense. So that's another.
I was thinking of gauging with you, and I'll ask live. Like, maybe we could get together sometime and do a watch party for Lord of the Rings. So me and you will watch Lord of the Rings, but everyone else will just see our reactions to us watching it. And it'll just be a live watch party, and we can let people know when we're starting it, and they could watch it with us along. Yeah, we could do that. Maybe guys in the chat, let us know if you're interested in that kind of stuff from myself and Headless. If
we're watching it live, we can make comments or whatever. And if we all start at the same time, we're kind of going through the episode, and then we could talk about it as a group instead of just us going back and forth. Yeah, I'd be interested in that. If we don't want to do every episode, maybe the last 2 or something, or we could start next Sunday. We could do episodes, 4 and 5 next week. Or
however you want to do it. We'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll figure it out. I was thinking the movies, we could watch like the movies and figure it out. I don't know.
Are you talking about the movies, or are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about the Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh, you're talking about the movies, not the show. Okay, I thought you were talking about doing a live watch party with the show. I see what you're saying. So
just the movies. Yeah, okay. So to maybe give us a little bit more of these connections, because I haven't watched Lord of the Rings in 10 years.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm genuinely going off what I remember, and I remember Gandalf whispers to these butterflies and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, I said I don't remember any of that, to be honest with you.
So below average gaming dad Danny just commented. He goes, 5 wizards came to Middle-earth. Sauron is likened to wind. Gandalf is likened to fire. Radagast with animals. Blue wizards are not given much association. Okay. So, if there's Sauron, Gandalf, Radagast, and the 3 wizards, is that not 6?
So Saruman, Gandalf,
and Radagast.
So Sauron is not a wizard.
Saruman is a wizard.
Right, and so Saruman. Oh my gosh! Now the names again.
Saruman is the Christopher Lee character.
Correct, and then
Sauron is the bad guy with the eye.
Bad guy with the eye, but he's not a wizard.
I don't believe so.
See, that's why I'm so confused. Like, why do you think he's Sauron then? Sauron, the stranger. That's why I'm so confused on why you think that. If he's not even a wizard to begin with.
Because she was searching Sauron at the beginning, and then we get the connection with the fire not being hot, and then she said it wasn't hot at the meteor, and then he draws what I look like a symbol of Mordor, and then he did the evil. He went back and did the evil thing with her, just like he did in Bag End with, with.
But how do you explain all the magic though? Like when she first walks onto him in the fire, it's like why does all that stuff, like why does all the rocks and stuff like float?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I have really no idea. So he could be magical. Well, I think we're getting down the road that he is, but I don't know if he could lose it with the evilness or something. I haven't got a clue.
So how much of Fellowship of the Ring do I have to watch to get to where he becomes like the Eye? Is it,
dude? If you're going to ask me that question, I'm going to give you my honest answer. You have to watch every single second of it because it's a fantastic masterpiece of a movie.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it.
Sorry,
I just wanted to see that part. Like, does it happen toward the end, or is this something that happens in the beginning?
Sure, it's number 2, isn't it? 2 Towers, isn't it? In the 2 Towers with the eye. I don't remember. It's literally been 10 years. I'll have to watch it tonight, probably.
Because the Fellowship of the Ring is when Gandalf wants
Gandalf meets the hobbits, and then the hobbits go to the elven place, and he gets given the pilgrimage to go on the journey, and everybody joins him. And then I think that's it.
And then there's ring wraiths and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, the ring wraiths. That's before he gets to the elves, though.
And that's so he has the cloak in the first movie already, right? The
mithril. The mithril.
What is it?
Do you mean the mithril? The cloak of mithril that he has that protects him when he's stabbed?
Oh no! Oh wait, no. You know what?
It's been 10 years, so I'm completely confused.
Thinking of Harry Potter. No, he puts the ring on to get to disappear. Jesus God!
He puts the ring on and goes to the unseen world, and that's where he sees.
Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking over here, but yeah, he does have a cloak though too. It's right. That he can't get stabbed.
He has a mithril cloak. Yeah.
It's been a while. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna have to watch these movies.
Definitely.
Oh my gosh! All right. We're at what, hour 15? All right, man. I don't know. I got nothing else, dude. I'm enjoying the show. I don't know the lore like I wish I did, like I do for Game of Thrones, but I'm definitely enjoying doing this because I'm learning more about the, just about everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I completely agree. And, I have unlimited amount of free time. So I come to these lives prepared. I know that you do too, but I also know that, you've got a family, you've got work, you've got all that kind of stuff. So I understand. But, it's cool. I enjoy the dynamic that we both have. You definitely brought some interesting conversation points tonight. You skipped over some things I would have done, and you brought in things I wouldn't have. So it's definitely interesting, and I enjoy it.
All right. So tomorrow night, we'll be breaking down episode 3. We'll be on
Ryan, baby.
Yep, we'll be on Ryan's channel. So he gets to see all the crazy names tomorrow. So that's good for me. And, I don't know. Besides that, you got anything else coming up this week? You planning on dropping anything?
Yeah, a video tomorrow.
Video tomorrow. There you go.
For my community. I'm so behind on stuff. So I got my new community feed this week, which means that I can now reach out, and I'm going to be doing something cool with that, which connects to my channel going forward after 500 subscribers. I dropped 2 new videos recently. One of them I was super hyped to drop, and has underperformed. One of them took me 3 days to make and is now my highest viewed video ever at nearly 1,000 views. I'm super hyped. You know, I've had a lot of feedback from them, so I thank everybody that's watched them. Horseman on Tuesday night, but yeah, stay tuned for live stream tomorrow with Headless, where we'll be episode 3, Rings of Power. We're going to be in Numenor, and then Horseman Tuesday night, which is always a fun night, always a great evening to hang out. And I'm also going to be releasing a video tomorrow regarding my community feed, so I would like people to, you know, engage with that and stuff, and give me feedback and stuff, because I'm definitely going to, my community feed, I'm going to do a weekly video, and it's going to be surrounded about and solely for my community on YouTube. So I would like people to let me know what they want me to do, what they want me to make. This is for you guys listening to me now. If you're subscribed to my channel and you want to have some input on a video, reach out to me and we'll get it done on the community video once a week. That's the way we're going to work.
Sounds good, man.
And obviously, and then every Saturday, I'm going to blow my community feed up with sharing out other people's videos and live streams and stuff like that. So it'll be shout out Saturdays on my community feed, and so stay tuned, because you'll be able to connect with more people. Like today, before Headless went live today, I posted myself and Headless are going live in about an hour's time. Come hang out, and then I dropped his link and said if you're not already subscribed, and then I think I put, hey Headless Horde, keep those heads on and don't forget stay milky. I thought that's a cool outro.
There you go, right?
But yeah, no, that's it. That's me, dude. What about you? You got anything coming up this week?
Yeah, so last week, obviously, I had some issues with my one puppy, but I'm glad to report that she is doing much better. And so I did drop a video yesterday on a Masters Universe figure, a 6-scale figure from San Diego Comic-Con that finally came in.
I watched that one.
Yeah, I mean, I wish, So watch the video. Let me know. I mean, I kind of like the figure now that I have it set up correctly, and I finally did get the weapon in. But dude,
just trying to push a fist through a hole that big.
I broke items, and I'm not very happy about it. And so we'll see what Mondo has to say.
Watch the video, guys. Yeah, watch the video. It's a good one.
It's really strange that that's the way they made that figure. But like, I have it set up right now, and it is pretty cool. So originally I asked for a refund. So I'm gonna reach out to them tomorrow and say, dude, just send me the new pieces. You know, whatever. I'll figure it out again. But anyways, I will be dropping a video tomorrow as well. I'm going to be doing a little review on GalaxyCon Columbus. I was supposed to do it last week, so I'll do that tomorrow instead. And then, I'll be live tomorrow night with Ryan. And then the rest of the week, I have a couple ideas for videos. Probably Wednesday or Thursday, I'll drop something. So,
do you want to announce the news that I set up with you the other day with me?
Yeah, so
not the other one, not the one I connected you with. The one, if you know what I'm on about. I'll put it in the private chat just in case. Yeah, do you want to announce that now while we're live or not?
We can do that. So I will be live on the Horseman on December, I believe it was December 6th, correct?
December 6th, yeah. You'll be my
December 6th.
You will be my last guest of the year.
I will be on Ryan when Ryan hosts. I will be on the Horseman, so I appreciate that invite. So I think that'll be fun. But and then I'll have another announcement probably next week. Yeah, I'll make another announcement. I will be a guest somewhere else, but I will wait one more week for that.
So I just put the news out there that he's got two announcements, and then he had to hide the fact that he's not going to do the other one now. So
I'm gonna wait. I'm
making you come back next week, you guys.
That's right. I'm gonna wait one more week. So, but all right. Anybody in the chat have anything? Any questions? I didn't really see anybody rate the episode or anything.
So all you guys here tonight, if you watch episode 3 tonight, I'm going to be breaking it down tomorrow, so you can come and chat with us tomorrow in the chat.
Yeah.
So definitely, if you guys are interested in it, because we want to get you guys chatting, we want to get more theories out there. We want to see the chat flying, keeping us busy and on our toes. So I'm just waiting for one comment to come in from somebody else.
All right. I think that's it then, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out.
Thank you, Danny. I appreciate you, my friend.
Yes, thank you very much. And we will see you tomorrow on Ryan's channel. And like always, keep those heads on and
stay milky.
There we go. See you guys.